Greetings and welcome to Releasing Overcontrol. Take a breath. Tune into the vibration of releasing overcontrol. This is something that I personally want to attend because, as with everything that I share, it's always for you, it's always for me, and it's always for everybody because these are all human issues. These are issues that we have. In the case of overcontrol, it's because on some level we made decisions, probably when young, that things had to be a certain way in order for us to feel safe or in order for other people to feel safe. So everything that we do regarding overcontrol seemingly has noble intentions. Unfortunately, they are also juvenile intentions. And here is an example of how that can happen. When you are a child, there are many things that you do not know how to do, and there are many things that you do not understand. And so what happens is you might be in a state of overwhelm, you might be in a state of overload, and you might be a little bit confused about what's going to happen. You don't really know how to control the situation so that you can feel safe. And so in that childish moment of fear, something in your brain says, well, if I could entirely control this situation, if I could be an adult, and at that moment the child is imagining, if I could be all-powerful, controlling adult, I could make this situation totally safe and effective for me and for everybody present. Now the child is making that decision at a very simple level of mind. It is very emotionally based. And so then what happens is, of course, we grow up and our brains and our hearts and our emotions are still automatically saying, this has to be a certain way. If this does not turn out the way I want, I'm going to get into a snit, or it's going to be the end of the world, or whatever. Now, you have heard, no doubt, about the difference between saying that something must be a certain way, saying that it should be a certain way, versus preferring something. Now, preference is something that comes more with adulthood, the ability to step back and say, okay, I know what my choice is, and I'm going to hold on to that choice, but I'm going to let go of insisting that something must be a certain way. So upgrading from should, upgrading from must to preference. So that's where this is headed. Now, to start, we are going to do some getting into the body and breathing practices. We are going to use those in conjunction with releasing overcontrol, and then we will do some shifting of the inner voice. So to start, tune into your body. Now, as you breathe into your body, tune into the thought, I choose to be here in this moment. I choose to be here in this moment. Okay? Now, as you breathe into your body, get a sense that by choosing to be here, you automatically get in touch with your personal power, get in touch with your abilities. So get a sense of that. Okay. Now, breathe all the way from your head to your toes and from your toes to your head. And notice what happens when you choose something, when you align with something or choose it, you automatically come into resonance with it. Now that becomes the core of your experience. And the more you get in touch with that, the more you can have genuine adult power, which is different from the childlike fantasy of being all-powerful and making things be a certain way. So, I choose to be present in this moment. I choose to breathe. Notice how when you say the word choose, I choose to do this or that, You are not making it so. You are not insisting that it must be a certain way. You are simply aligning or resonating with something. Now that is going to become your center of power, your place of power, where you can move gently but deliberately towards a goal. And that is a way of being present in the body that holds the space of preference. Notice that when you say, I choose to breathe, I choose to be here, you are not demanding, you are not insisting, you are not controlling. You are choosing. You are preferring. Now notice something almost magical happens when you do this. When you notice the effect on your body and your mind and your emotions, when you breathe and choose to breathe, you start to notice subtle details of your body. You notice subtle details of your breathing. Now, when people are in overcontrol states, in a sense, they are not sensing details. They are not relaxed enough to be present with details. Instead, it's as if they're stuck in their head, and there is this relentless voice in their head that says things must be a certain way. So, tune into what it feels like in your body when you choose anything at all. We spoke about easy things like choosing to be in your body and choosing to breathe, something like that. Easy enough. Tune in now to something that is happening in your life. You would prefer that it go in a certain way. You're tuning into something in your life. You would prefer that it has a certain outcome. Now, let's try this in a new way. It's as if we're entering into the situation through a different doorway, more relaxed doorway. So you've got your outcome, and you are defining that outcome. Notice what happens when you say the words, I choose this outcome. Or you might say, I prefer this outcome. Now, as you do that, it's okay to notice your breathing because we do want to be present in the body. So you are in the body. You are aware of your breathing. Notice that. You choose the outcome. Now, there are little voices showing up. These are the relentless voices that are the overcontrol voices. Notice the difference between the voice that chooses to be in the body and it says, I choose this outcome, and compare that with a voice that says, it must be a certain way, da, 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 da. I have to, I must, I should, da, da, da. Notice the difference. Good. Very good. Okay. Let's see what that does for your body energy and for the energy field, your body and your energy field. What I'm noticing is when your energy was in the should or must state, it was almost as if you were fragmented, out of body, brittle energy at the edge of the aura. When you shift to, I choose this outcome. I choose to breathe and be present with this outcome. I notice that you are more relaxed in the body. And interestingly, and this is a metaphysical point of importance, I notice that as you choose and resonate with the outcome, you are vibrationally actually in alignment with it more easily. So that is good. Very nice. Let's see how you're doing with these little experiments so far. The question has come up. What is the difference between choosing and preferencing on the one hand versus wishful thinking or fantasy thinking? Okay, interesting question. The difference is when a person is in a fantasy or wishful thinking state, they are not aware of their breathing. They are not in their body. They are drifting away. They are having a daydream. And as amusing and delightful as that might be, it's not really a technique for manifestation. So the difference is when you are in reality, you are aware of the environment around you. You are aware of your breathing. You are aware of your body. You are, in a conscientious way, consciously saying, I choose to align with such and such reality. Notice that you're not demanding that it happen because that would be overcontrol. These shifts that we are speaking of, they are subtle. Simply choosing to be present. Perhaps you had thought that we would banish the evil overcontrol. It's not something you banish. It's something that you choose to be present with. So that is the difference. When you are present, when you are resonating with something, you are actually practicing, you could call it a manifestation technique. But it's definitely easier on your body and your mind and your soul. It was noticed that the voice of the overcontrol voice, was distinctly bothersome, distinctly unpleasant. The voice of the self, the true self, was much more easy to be with. Also, the comment that when the breathing is smoother, it brings you back to center and it brings you back to a comfortable place that is distinctly more enjoyable, more comfortable than the yammering voice. Now, what this reveals, in a way, is that we have become acclimated to uncomfortable states, and these are the overcontrol states. We do not realize when we are in the overcontrol state that we are not attentive to our breathing. We do not realize that we are out of our body. And if you think about the mechanism that made this happen in the first place, you were probably a child, you were probably in a state of fear, and for those reasons, you probably became fragmented. So there's a little bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome hiding underneath a lot of this over-control behavior. The post-traumatic stress thing is probably associated with over-control. We are going to proceed. We are going to tune into an esoteric technique that I've been developing over the past few weeks. This is a type of energy balancing that is going to help you to rewire your brain, rewire your nervous system. It's going to help you to release the stress that leads to overcontrol, and it will help you to get back into your body. So this is something that has a number of steps, but each step is very easy. So we shall go over them. First, take one or both of your hands, doesn't matter, one or both of your hands, tune into the vibration in your hands. I call these the energy hands. It's the spiritual vibration of your soul, your life essence, inside your hands. Now, what I've noticed is in the area all around the head, if you could imagine an area on a horizontal plane that extends approximately from the temples, approximately from the eyes, but in a flat plane that extends in all directions all around the head. There is something about that region in the aura around the head. You could visualize Saturn's rings, the planet Saturn and the rings around it. If those rings were going horizontally, almost like a donut or a hula hoop, all around your head, somehow that area gets really tight when people are in that over-control state. And so I've elaborately described it so you can find it. Now with one or both energy hands, literally reach around your head and start sweeping. Sweep and smooth out these tension rings or Saturn rings of tension that are floating about the head. It's not that the rings are artificially there. This is simply a segment of the aura around your head, and it's holding tension. So you're basically doing energy balancing or aura balancing all around your head. And you're going to be smoothing in front of your eyes, on the side of the head, at the temples and the ears, and in the same region on a horizontal plane behind your head. So just get a sense of what that feels like. It's interesting, as I look at your auras, as you do this, your auras are puffing out and getting nice and shiny and bright just because you're doing some smoothing around your head. So that tells us that the tension that has been held mentally is affecting your entire energy system. Okay, now, that's step one, by the way. Step two, after I started working with step one, by the way, just so you know how I came about working with this, I found that place around the head, and I noticed all the good that it did for releasing overcontrol, and then I noticed that I felt spacey. Now, the reason for that is that the second part of the technique, which corrects the spaciness, you take one of your energy hands and you sweep vertically up and down your central channel. You take one of your energy hands and sweep vertically up and down your central channel. And the way you might visualize this, tune into one of your hands. Imagine that your hand is a magic healing hand, and imagine that it has a beam of light extending from it. And so now sweep your hand up and down in front of your body so that you are sweeping that beam right into your central core. You could imagine your central core as a beam of light that runs up and down your body. You could imagine it as the spiritual spinal column. So you're sweeping up and down. That's part two. What I found is that when you release the overcontrol around the head by sweeping that horizontal plane all around the cranium, that releases the tension around particular topics. And then you get yourself back into your body by doing the vertical sweep up and down your core. When you describe it to other people, it seems as if you're doing a mystical, advanced activity, but when you learn how to do the two steps and practice them, you realize it's quite easy to do. Anybody could do this if they let themselves relax into it and bring some attention to this kind of a process. Here's where it gets sophisticated and where it gets really useful. Now, being able to do that two-step technique that I just described is definitely going to help you relax and get integrated. It's going to bring you into present time, and it's, in a general way, a very excellent thing to do. But imagine what would happen if you applied it to particular issues of over-control. For example, if there's a particular person, a particular behavior, a particular topic, a particular situation that you always get tense about, you always get reactive about, and you start hearing that relentless voice within that says, that person can't do that, I have to stop them from doing that, this cannot be allowed, and so on and so on. So we are going to practice now using energy balancing techniques on that particular issue, which is your particular situation that perturbs you. Your person that bothers you, someone or something, could be anything. But whatever it is, you know what it is. Most of us have many of these issues, things that we're so perturbed about that we just want to control it, and we forget that we can be present and breathe. So think about that particular thing, be it a person or a situation. Okay, now you're looking in your mind at that particular person or situation, and you are going to take your energy hand. So while you're thinking about that thing, you are going to smooth all around your head. You're smoothing in front of your eyes and your forehead. You're smoothing at the side of your head, temples and ears, and you're smoothing behind at the occipital area, which is simply the notch at the back of the head where the upper neck connects in with the cranium. So You're sweeping all around, and you might even want to move your hand all around as if you were smoothing the rim of a wheel. And what you're really doing is smoothing this region of your energy field. You are doing energy balancing. Now, you might wonder, okay, well, how do I focus on doing energy balancing while thinking about this thing or person that bothers me? The answer to that is it's very easy to think of two things. You spend a few seconds doing some energy smoothing around your head, and you spend a moment noticing, okay, now what about that person or that situation that is bothersome to me? And so you're smoothing. Now, as you smooth, you might feel these minor jolts or minor funny feelings in the body. And what's really happening is that your nervous system has been tightly gripped in your judgmental thoughts about the person or the situation. And so you are actually unwinding yourself from that. You are helping your head smooth out and to disengage from being so judgmental, so preoccupied with whatever it is. Okay, so that's starting to release the hold that that negative thought has upon you. And so now do some vertical sweeps up and down your body. Vertical sweeps up and down your body with your energy hand. Good. Okay. Now, let's do this quickly. Take your energy hand, do a quick sweep around the head. Quick sweep around the head. Vertical sweep up and down the entire body, central channel, sweeping up and down. Once more, quick sweep around the head, that horizontal plane all around the cranium, sweeping and smoothing. Quick up and down with your energy hand, sweeping up and down central channel. Okay? Good. So I look at your aura now. Everybody looks brighter. Your core definitely looks more alive. So I ask you to tune in to your breathing. Tune into your breathing. Notice what it feels like to be more at peace and yet more alive. Connect your heart center. When you do your vertical sweep, sweep it through your heart center when you're working through the whole central channel. That's good. Now tune into your breathing and notice that you can choose to let your breathing include all the parts of your body. One of those things that's simple to do but very profound. You are tuning into your breathing. You're noticing your arms, your legs, your pelvis, your spine, your head, everything. Your breathing includes all those parts of the body. Now, when you look at that person or that situation, whatever it was that you were having a response to, you might still recognize that you do not really agree with that person or do not really approve of what's happening in the situation. I'm not claiming that you should. The whole purpose of this is to let you maintain your intelligence, to let you maintain your high standards, but it's a way of staying sane. It's a way of staying balanced. Now, of course, the way things work, when you are more balanced and able to relax into your body, relaxing with your breathing, and being able to be at peace with resonating with your preferred outcome, that's actually more likely to happen. And so what that means is the relentless voice that insists that you must make something happen, it doesn't really know how to get a result. That voice is not really helping. It's simply punishing you in a sense. Let's talk about being proactive. Proactive is when you move towards a goal. Now, it's very easy to fool oneself and to say to oneself, well, I'm so tense about this situation and I'm needing to force everything into a certain direction because things aren't going the way they should go. And so my forcing things and my being tense, that's proactive. So let's talk about some fine distinctions here. When you are looking at a situation and you are wanting it to manifest in a certain way, and when you want that situation to manifest in a certain way, and you find that the relentless voice is present, that means in a sense that you are no longer being proactive. You are being controlling. Now, to be really clear, your goal may well be a good goal. What you want to happen could be a wonderful, noble thing. That's not the issue. And it's really important to notice that we're not talking about the quality of your goal at all. We're talking about the ease with which you conduct yourself as you move towards the goal. And so the tip-off is, if you say that you are being proactive, but your breathing is tight, high in the chest, that kind of nervous breathing that leaves out the entire body breathing, that means that it's no longer really proactive. Also, if you are able to look at the preferred situation and actually say the words, I choose such and such, or I prefer such and such. If you are able to say those words, you will generally bring yourself into a healthy relationship with your goal. Also, that will make it easier for you to notice if you have gotten into an over-controlling state. Now, let us look at the issue of control versus discipline. Now, when you are controlling something, it mimics discipline, but it's not quite the same thing. The reason for that is that a person who is truly disciplined is centered, and that allows that person to move steadfastly and deliberately towards their goal. So let's define discipline as moving towards your preference, moving towards what you choose in a centered way. Let's redefine discipline to mean doing something with elegance and beauty and ease so that the highest outcome can occur, so that the highest quality can manifest. Now that could apply to driving a car towards your destination. When a person is racing and when they claim, oh, well, I'm disciplined, I'm focused on my goal, they are perhaps creating risk or harm in some way. Now, of course, one of the things that the relentless voice is going to do, and this is a trick of the mind that we need to be aware of here, when the relentless nervous voice that is over-controlling hears that you are going to do something with beauty or elegance or style, it's likely to say, oh, well, that's irrelevant and it's getting in the way of the goal. And so the relentless voice does not really understand the possibility of moving towards something in a state of peace or moving towards something in a state of ease or centeredness. So be attentive when the voice is there. Also realize that you will need to have an inner conversation with the relentless voice. And actually, this would be a good time to bring that topic up and go over some exercises so that we can learn to talk to a voice. Now, I do realize that in saying, well, there's this problem with this voice, the relentless voice that creates over-control, you might suppose that I'm saying the voice is bad and must be banished, but to have the attitude of fear or judgment about an over-controlling voice is to exhibit a type of over-control that is judgmental and that leads to tension. And so, here's how to approach this. You breathe into your body. You notice the vibe or the voice of your true self. You notice the vibe when you are saying, I choose to do such and such, or I prefer such and such. And you compare that with the relentless voice. Now simply bring your attention to the one and to the other. Keep breathing. Stay in your center. Notice what happens when you are aware of the relentless voice. You're not banishing it, but by being centered, by being aligned with your voice of preference and choosing, you can gently invite the relentless voice to participate with gentle choosing. Now, it might not readily do this, and that's okay, but invite it to participate. Now, just for fun, imagine that your relentless voice is wearing a t-shirt that has a big yellow happy face sticker on it. The relentless voice is wearing a t-shirt with a big yellow happy face sticker on it. And your relentless voice is wearing on its head a party hat, kind of paper fun hat that children having a birthday party might wear. Now that is going to take some of the seriousness out of the relentless voice. And it's going to reveal to that voice that if it wants to play your game according to your rules, which are based on preference and choosing, it is going to have to play your way. But you are not making it do that. You are inviting it to participate in choosing. You are inviting that voice to participate in preference. Now, we're going to look at the issue of the high ground or the moral vibration that some people seem to get into when they are actually in a state of over-control. And this is a very sophisticated level of the mind that is saying, in a sense, well, other people don't know how to do things, and I do, and I need to make sure that they do things the right way, and I have every right to be in my judgmental state. Now, here is the fine line that we are walking here. It's entirely possible that you actually do perceive problems that certain people have or that certain groups on the planet have. There may be some accuracy in your perception. However, the part of the self that becomes relentless and feels that it must control or must make those people be a certain way is getting into that state, and it's getting stuck. Notice what happens when you shift into looking at a particular person or a particular group where you have been judging in a way that seems to make you be the moral high ground. Simply say, I would prefer that that person or group behave in a certain way. I would prefer that that person or group have a certain understanding. It is my preference. Notice that when you feel into your body, notice that when you are aware of your breathing and you state, I would prefer that this person or group had a certain understanding. There's something in your mind that suddenly becomes enlightened because you recognize that, well, of course everybody's different and everybody has different ways of learning and everybody has different rates of learning. So even if you have an understanding that seems obvious to you, it's entirely possible that you came by the understanding through the hard work of many, many lifetimes. And so here you are, and you have reached an understanding. It seems obvious to you. You're looking at a person or a group, but something in your mind forgot that it took thousands of years for you to reach this understanding. So notice what happens when you look at the person or the group and you say, I prefer that this person or group had a higher understanding. I prefer that they did things in a way that is in alignment with whatever you feel it should be. Now, look at what your preference is. Now, this is going to be an interesting little exercise. Look at what your preference is and glance at that and take a breath. And then look at what the person or the group actually does and take another breath. And as you look at what the person or the group does, take your energy hand, sweep all around your head, smooth out the energy all around your head, and then sweep your vertical channel of light in your body up and down. Sweep your head again. Sweep up and down. You will actually feel yourself drop into your body. You will feel yourself drop into your body in a state of ease, and you will notice that you are looking through new eyes and feeling through a new body, because you are noticing that certain people or an individual, whoever you have the attitude about, they're doing what they're doing, but you somehow now recognize that they're doing it. You're not making them be anything. You're not making them do anything. You recognize that it's okay for that to happen. Not okay in the sense that it's good. Again, it's a very fine line. When I say it's okay that people are doing certain things, and I do recognize that certain people are doing quite bad or dangerous things, it's the way evolution is happening in this moment on the planet. So if those things are happening, it's obviously part of evolution. Yes, you would prefer that it be a certain way, but you are smoothing out your overreaction to it and releasing your over-control. Okay, so we just did a lot, and I'm curious if you have any comments or questions at this time. We had a question or comment that came up regarding when one is doing the energy sweeps, it was noticed that it felt different going clockwise versus counterclockwise, and it seemed to depend upon the particular issue that the questioner was asking about and what is happening there. This is something that you can read about in metaphysical books, and they will often say, do this direction for this situation and that direction for that situation. I would like to override that general advice that's often given with something that's even more to the point for you, which is notice what actually happens when you go clockwise or counterclockwise, because for each situation it will be whatever it is. And so you do not want to be stuck on mental rules for healing. You want to know that there are benefits to using the clockwise and the counterclockwise motion. People get excellent results when they use both, when they combine clockwise and counterclockwise. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, we are going to look at a deeper form of doing the energy balancing, a deeper way to do the energy balancing that we have explored so far. Now, we were talking about smoothing around the head on a horizontal plane that extended from the eyes and the eyebrows, from the ears at the side, and the occipital at the back of the head. Now, we were just smoothing outside in the aura. We are going to explore now taking it even deeper, and this is where you're literally doing psychic brain surgery. So welcome to Psychic Brain Surgery 101. So what you're going to do with your energy hands, tune into one or both of your energy hands, tune into the center of your head. Now you are going to make a sweeping motion. If you could imagine there was a wheel, you're going to sweep the spokes. The hub of the wheel is in the very center of the brain. You're going to sweep outwards on a horizontal plane. And so you're going to sweep from the center of the brain out to the side of the head, and then out towards the front of the head, and from the center of the brain out the back of the head. And so you're doing these, and it's almost as if, as I visualize it, I'm imagining a wheel. You're starting at the hub of the wheel, the center of the wheel, and the center of the brain, and you're sweeping the spokes of that wheel. You're sweeping outwards. What you're actually doing is smoothing out the psychic nerves of the brain. Now, when you do this, it's a powerful thing, but it gets really precise. It becomes a really advanced practice when you tune into something that you had over-control issues with, and you sweep your brain in that manner. So, I'm going to ask you, tune into something that you tend to be over-controlling about. Just tune into a person or situation or group about which you tend to want to have demands, or you strongly, relentlessly wish that they could be a certain way. So as you tune into that, tune in now to the center of your head and sweep from the center of the head, sweep the spokes of the wheel, imaginary wheel that's extending horizontally. Sweep the spokes outwards. That's right. Sweep everything outwards. Smooth it out. That's good. Keep smoothing. And then periodically you notice the situation. That's good. That is releasing some heavy reactive stuff from your brain. That's good. Excellent. Okay. Now, do some vertical sweeps. Really important when you've done that deep brain work. Do some vertical sweeps. Use your energy hand to extend into the central column of the body. Sweep up and down. Good. Sweep up and down. That's nice. And then you remember earlier we were smoothing all around the head. We were smoothing outside the head. So do the smoothing. And when I say outside the head, you could be almost touching the skin, but you could be as far away as your arm can reach, because the aura around the head actually extends pretty far. So let's try that. You're going to smooth all around the head, close to the head. Notice what that feels like. And then at a distance, yes, that's working with more subtle layers of the aura. That's good. Okay. And some vertical sweeps up and down. Now, when you consider once more that person or group or situation, you might look at it and intellectually you will perhaps realize that you are not really agreeing with the person or the group or the situation. There are certain things that you would rather were true, but you're able to relax more so. You're able to be in your body more so. You're able to breathe. And that, I say, is reality. It's a deeper reality when you can be in the truth of your body. It's a deeper reality when you can be in the truth of your true awareness, so that you can recognize that even if you do not agree with something, you can still observe it, and you might even still intend to deliberately take actions that would help to educate or create a shift in some manner. You can still have that intention, but you are doing it in a way that is gently deliberate rather than over-control. And so that's the funny thing about releasing over-control. You're not necessarily releasing all that much. The release occurs because you learn a healthier way of being present. Now, it's very profound what you're doing, and yet do be aware that there will be a number of people, when you tell them what you're doing, they'll say, "Oh, I already knew that." And many people have this response when you tell them something that seems obvious or seems simple. They will say they already knew that. But the practice of being in your body, the practice of smoothing your energy, practice of breathing and utilizing intention, it's not simply something that you know, and that reveals that when somebody says, "Oh, well, I already knew that," they are in their head. They are not really doing the wisdom in real time in their body. Okay, now let us see. Let's tune into your aura and let's see what is happening here. We are going to take the exercises, the energy exercises, to an even deeper place. Okay. Take one or both of your energy hands, do some quick smoothing around the head, and then do some sweeps from the center of the brain outwards. But this time, when you reach the outermost point that you can reach with your energy hand, you are going to sweep back towards the center of the brain. So you're sweeping the spokes of that horizontal wheel that extends from the center of the brain. You're extending outwards and sweeping and smoothing the energy. And then you are sweeping and smoothing the energy back towards the brain. And you're going to do that several times. You're sweeping outwards and sweeping inwards. Maybe you could do it this way. You sweep from the center and you sweep out to the side of the head and then back and then out to the front and then back and then out behind the head and then back. Good. Now you're going to sweep up and down the core. Now, when you touch the bottom of the core at the feet, sweep down, deep down into the ground, and then back up. And when you sweep upwards, go way above the head, and then sweep back down. Now, one of the things, it often comes up as a question when people are working way below their feet and they're working way above the head, they have a concern that is a reasonable concern about being ungrounded or being too extended or too spacey. So understand that when you are sweeping, you're sweeping way above the head. Yes, you might sweep miles above the head, but you're sweeping right back down rather quickly. And so you're not disappearing or floating away somewhere. Likewise, when you sweep below your feet, you could go all the way down to the center of the planet. It's a really good practice. But then you're sweeping right back up. So you're not leaving your body or floating around somewhere. Okay? So let's try that. A big vertical sweep. Go way down past your feet, and then sweep right back up. And you're sweeping way above the head, way above, miles above the head, sweeping right back down. Now, it occurs to me that if you were able to contact the grounded intelligence at the center of the planet and the cosmic consciousness in the universe, that would give you an instant resonance with a deep universal understanding, and that would really help with overcontrol. So, check this out. Whatever the person or situation or group that perturbs you on the planet, whomever that might be and whatever it's about, just be aware of that person or group or situation. Just notice it and do a vertical sweep. As you observe the person or situation, do a vertical sweep that includes the cosmic energy way above your head. But don't get stuck there. You're not escaping there. You're sweeping up and down, and you are including that. And you are including the grounded energy in the center of the planet. While doing these cosmic and grounded activities for yourself, you are quietly noticing the person, group, or situation. Now, what this reveals to you is something most profound. It reveals to you that even though the situation that concerns you might in fact have a serious aspect to it, it reveals to you that there's something even more real than that situation. What I'm referring to here is that when you tune into the center of the earth, when you tune into your core, when you tune into the cosmic essence of the universe, you are tuning into something that is more fundamental than that situation that you have been looking at. The reason that's so important and profound for your well-being is that when you look at situations that are serious, if you can find something that's even more serious but in a cosmic way, a serious cosmic truth, that is a beautiful thing because it frees you from being in that relentless, nervous, over-control state. It reveals to you that whatever is happening with that person, group, or situation that perturbs you, there is something even more profound. There is something even more real. There is something, I would say, even more important. Now, some people are going to understand this when you describe it to them. Many will not. Many will say, well, who cares if you have a cosmic experience? Such and such a situation is very serious. They do not understand, and so just let them be in the state that they are in. Realize what you are doing for the planetary situation when you are able to get into your center, when you are able to release judgment, when you are able to release your control. It frees you to be in a most potent state in which you can choose something. You can prefer something. Imagine how powerful it would be if you were in that state of gently choosing, gently preferring a given positive reality while being connected to your breathing, while being connected to your core, while being connected to the cosmos, and while being connected to the earth itself. So let us do this as a concluding meditation. Tune in to your breathing. Tune in to your feet. Sweep the energy up and down so that you can sweep from your central channel all the way down to the center of the earth, and so you can sweep all the way up through your body, sweep above your head, all the way up to as high as you can imagine, and then sweep that all the way down so you are uniting universal consciousness, your own essence, the wisdom, the life energy of the planet, of nature. You are uniting those. And now with one or both energy hands, sweep from your core outwards and then sweep back to your core. As if your whole core is breathing, it's opening up, expanding, and then contracting. Giant breath. Now, as you do that, you are intending, but your intention is not a demand. Your intention is a preference or a choice. Feel free with your energy hands to continue doing the sweeping. Sweeping outwards, sweeping back to core, sweeping down to earth, sweeping up to body, sweeping above the head to universal, sweeping from universal back down. This is the extension of your aura. The universe is the extension of your personal aura. You are made of universal substance. So you are uniting you and the universe. But it's all expressing in your unique vibration. And you're looking at what you prefer. It's a choice. It could be something small, like some small item that you would like to own, or it could be something giant, like world peace. But whatever it is, anytime the relentless voices show up, that means you're no longer really choosing it. You're demanding it. And that is control, and that control is not helping. But tune into what you prefer, what you choose, and simply be with it and breathe with it, and tune into your flowing energy. Be present with your preference. And when you do this, you will be delighted to discover that you can feel the resonance. You can feel the vibration of that. And in that state, you are a disciplined person. You are a proactive person. You are doing the right thing. But it's not righteous. It's not self-righteousness. It's just right because it feels right. It feels balanced. You are at peace with your goal. And that means, of course, that your goal, which is also a conscious reality, your goal is at peace with you. So you have released the divisiveness that comes from overcontrol. So that is something that you can explore with your body, with your breathing, with your consciousness, anytime. And there are infinite opportunities to do this every day. And so I thank you. So we just had a comment here that when connecting to the universal and being in that state of united consciousness and bringing the attention to the situation on the planet that was of some concern, there was more psychic recognition, more sympathy, that there was a lot of pain present. Now, that's an interesting component of tuning into things. When you include the universe, it actually makes you psychic. It actually lets you have a sense of the full spectrum of what is happening. Now, the reason that's so important is that when you realize that individuals or groups who you had thought that you had to control in some way are actually in pain, it gives you sympathy, it gives you some compassion, it gives you understanding, and it lets you recognize that your judgment and your overcontrol is likely not going to change people who are in pain, but do consider that when you get into that state of gentle allowance, when you are able to gently choose, then you are bringing forth a resonance and you are cultivating the presence of that resonance. So a lot of interesting potential here. We are ready to conclude for the evening. I want to wish everybody blessings on every level. I want to wish you peaceful alignment with your goals. I want to wish you ease and amusement when you listen to your relentless controlling voice so that you can put a little happy face t-shirt on your controlling voice. I want to wish you the best in all things in the highest and best appropriate way that is comfortable and easeful each day. So